Hello, and welcome to a variety episode of Crossword Radio. This is your enigmatic host, The Brain, and today is Tuesday, November 30th, 2021. We are looking at not the New Yorker. Again, it's a variety day. The New Yorker publishes their crosswords on Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Still having some issues getting OBS to record anything that isn't a web browser. Again, using Linux, having difficulties. Was having more difficulties today. You can see all this time that's elapsed with me just sitting here screwing around with settings trying to get OBS to work. And that's with this puzzle. Just if you just leave it alone for long enough, it'll kind of pause. But this is on the New York Times website today, not the New Yorker. And they publish variety puzzles occasionally, speaking of Variety Day, including this cryptic. If you are a subscriber to the New York Times, you go to the regular crossword page and you scroll down. Here's like recent puzzles and the monthly. You keep scrolling. Here we go, Variety. And they publish these once a week on Sundays, I believe. Well, they say they're dated on Sunday, but I think they actually publish them sometime Saturday. But whatever. And they have this cryptic. So again, you start on the main crossword page, ignore this horribly slow time, and scroll all the way down. I was one of those things where you had something wrong, and I just couldn't find it. I had over here, takes a first bite of. I tried initially to put in tests in there, but then kind of left it because I had L was my guess here for Lord's nickname. I didn't know. So I had testes. Oops, that's obviously not the right answer. And it just, for some reason, I couldn't see that as I was scanning, looking for where I was wrong. So it's probably more like a 5:30 or something solve with 2 minutes of me screwing around. Anyway, let's go back to the cryptic. I do the New Yorker cryptic. You'll notice the grid looks significantly different than the New Yorker Cryptic's grid, although this is basically how standard British cryptic grids look. One of the disadvantages of this grid, you get a lot less crossings than the New Yorker gives you. New Yorker's crossword is pretty generous with the number of crossings that you'll get. You can see at most any word is going to have like a little bit more than 50%, 3/5 of those have crossings, but like this word is only 50%, and like that's the most on average you're going to get 50% or more of crossings, whereas you can get 60-70% or more in the New Yorker of crossed to uncrossed cells. And in general, I've done a couple of the cryptics that the New York Times has published in the past. Not too many, but a few. I think in general they're actually kind of harder than the New Yorker crossword. New Yorker is pretty approachable. So let's just see how we do. And let's get started. So I can't help it. I was sitting here screwing around with settings and stuff. I was looking at this clue and I think I got it. Pay at the start to get on section of website. So pay at the start is the letter P. Can you see that? Yeah. Pay at the start is the letter P. And then to get on is to age. They're getting on in years. And so P and age is page, which is a section of website. I know, certainly other people who solve cryptics and I myself heavily rely on this method of not really getting the word primarily through the cryptic part of the clues, but kind of taking a guess at what the definition is, in this case section of website, taking a stab at what the word might be, and then seeing if you can justify it with the wordplay. So, as I've said before, the instant I get some letters into the grid, I like to start working the crosses. So let's see if we can get anything here. A money pooled to acquire standard Warhol pieces, for example. Well, money pooled could be a pot, and to acquire makes me think we're putting a word that means standard or standard Warhol. Probably standard. To acquire, and then Warhol pieces, for example. So Warhol was a very famous pop artist. Is the answer pop art? Yeah, I think it is. So money pooled is a pot, P-O-T. I should probably use this clue as my example because it's bigger. To acquire, so put inside of it a standard, which is a par, which I mean specifically in the game of golf is the number of strokes you're expected to take on a hole, but has just colloquially come to mean, a standard or a norm or whatever, a par. Okay, we're getting some crosses. How about this longer one? Let's see. As a rule, Army Chief left before end of ceremony. Okay, well, I think I probably get it. You just see as a rule and Army Chief. We have a G here. General, and of course, generally means as a rule. So I just saw Army Chief with the G, and I thought of general, and that got me to generally to mean as a rule. So an Army Chief is a general. Left is one of those ones that just gets abbreviated to L sometimes, and that at least I understand. I know I've griped in the past about the words that they use to abbreviate. What did I see one time? It was like reckless, or I can't remember, some word that did not make sense to abbreviate it to R, but it was rectified. I can't remember. And then end of ceremony. The end of the word ceremony is a Y. So Army Chief, L. So general plus L plus the end of ceremony. So like before. All of this occurs before the end of ceremony, which is Y, to mean as a rule, generally. Okay, writers getting a drink somewhere in Florida. Well, with the P in the end, there is a city in Florida called Pensacola. Can I justify that? And I think I can. So writers are pens. You would write with a pen. A pen could be described as a writer. Is getting a. So that's one thing. Very frequently in cryptics, the A is just a letter. The word A is going to go in there because a well-written cryptic clue is going to include every single word is going to be part of it. You're going to try not to have too many elided sections of the clue, which is why when I did this past Sunday's cryptic, I complained a little bit about their apostrophe S's being, making you ignore them because they're supposed to be included as part of the cryptic answer. But in this case, so the A is oftentimes, if you were trying to read this as a regular sentence, really read these clues, oftentimes they would be missing like an A or an an or something where you would normally said it, like father has informal agreement to settle debts. That does work grammatically as a sentence, but if you were to actually, for some reason, you were to say that as a sentence to someone, you would probably say, oh, well, father has an informal agreement. But they don't put the an there because that would throw you off in the cryptic. So the New York Times, at least, seems to be a little bit better so far about if there's going to be an A in the clue, it's going in the grid somehow. That's almost always what it is. And then a drink, of course, is cola. So pens getting A and a drink, which is cola, to mean somewhere in Florida. There we go. Enthusiastic Republican taking a call on the cell phone. Well, that R blank R can't be too many things, and I'm looking at enthusiastic and I'm thinking raring. Like ready and raring to go. And I think, yeah. So a Republican, that's an easy abbreviation to R. That one makes sense. When you're watching C-SPAN or any news program really where they're showing congressmen and congresswomen talk, it'll say, oh, whatever, Steve, the Democrat from New York, and it'll say D, comma, NY. Democrat from New York, Republican from Washington, or whatever. R-WA. So R, Republican is getting abbreviated to R. Is taking A. Once again, we're putting our A just right in the word here. And then the call on the phone is ring. There we go. Not too bad. Parent in England drinks a good new bottle of champagne. So what do we think the definition is here? Parent in England drinks a good new bottle of champagne. Bottle of champagne. Champagne or bottle of champagne? Isn't there a size of bottle called a magnum? Okay. Oh, all right. I get it. We're doing a lot of abbreviating in this puzzle here. But parent in England is a mum, M-U-M. That's their sort of word for mom. Mum. So that's parent in England. Drinks. So in this case, drinks, a little bit unusual, but certainly works as an indicator word to mean put inside of. So take into mum. A. Once again, we're sticking that A in there. Good is just G, and new is just N. And I'm not really sure. I guess new and N I think I've seen. I don't know if I've seen good abbreviated to G, but there we go. I think that's it. How about here? Cookout involving seafood and meat coated in something sweet. So what is this? Something sweet? Like a plum tart or something like that? Cookout involving seafood. Cookout. Barbecue. Well, cookout involving seafood, now that I'm thinking about it. What am I thinking? Not a, what do they call it? Like a shrimp boil or something like that. Clam boil? Meat coated, so meat is, I think, is lamb, coated in something sweet. A coil is not something sweet. Coil, clam boil. Oh, a clam bake, right? I think I've heard like lobster boil or shrimp boil or something, but right, when it comes to clams, I think I have heard clam bake. Okay, and it's lamb coated in cake, which is something sweet. So, meat. Lamb coated in is surrounded by cake. C-A-K-E. There we go. Okay, well, we got a lot of crossings, but we're now, all the words that are left are not giving us many crossings. How about this down here? To finish with, you should go downtown for Japanese food. I mean, finish seems like a very obvious wordplay indicator here. So I think probably the answer is Japanese food. Or just food. Food is a little generic. If it's Japanese food, it could be udon. Isn't that Japanese noodles? Oh, okay, yeah. So finish with is the cryptic section of the clue here. To finish with, so the ends of the words, you should do. Oh, I keep forgetting to do it up here. You should go downtown. U-D-O-N. The finishing letters of that phrase. Wow, we're really cooking here. How about this is a big long one. Drunk, blacked out a lot. 10 letters. Drunk is an anagram indicator often. is blacked out 10 letters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes. So it's probably an anagram of blacked out to mean a lot. Sorry, just getting some text messages and stuff. That's too long. I can't do those big, crazy long anagrams in my head. It's going to be something to mean a lot, I'm guessing. And drunk is our anagram indicator here. How about this Y? Father has informal agreement to settle debts. Well, this 3-2 here is helping. So we have a 3-letter word that ends in Y, and then a 2-letter word. I can't imagine that's father. It must be settle debts, which looks like pay up to me. Father maybe is pap or pop. No, not pup though. Informal agreement. You? Oh, father is just pa. I was trying to make it too long, like pop, P-O-P or P-A-P or something. It's just pa. An informal agreement is yup. That's informal way to agree and then to settle debts. Pay up. Okay. Not too bad, not too bad. I do need to pause the recording briefly, and I will be right back. Okay, I am back. Sorry about that. I had to use the little brains room. Okay. Let's look at this one next because we have the first letter, and that should help. Have search party start to search. Have search parties start to search. Start to search seems like an S to me. So have, possess. Can we justify that? And I think we can. Search parties are posses. If you've ever watched like a old Western or something like that, they're always rounding up a posse to go deal with the bandits or whatever. So search parties, possess, or posses, start to search is an S. Possess. There we go. This is fairly straightforward. I've really struggled with some of the cryptics they've done in the past. Maybe sometimes you're just on a puzzle's wavelength and you just are not facing much resistance. Kindness is the first marker of generous people. First marker. That, first of marker is an M. What's our answer here? People or generous people? Or kindness? How about this one? Going around public school, a guest somehow steals the limelight. Well, public school, I could easily see that being an abbreviation for PS. Like, PS 109 or whatever. That's public school 109. PS. We have again. We have an A, rather. Somehow. Going around public school. So going around PS. A guest somehow. Well, going or going around, those are very clear indicator words, so they are probably not the definition. The definition, therefore, is either limelight or steals the limelight. It feels like it could be steals the limelight, because there's a, what do you call that? You show someone up. Upstages, steals, right? Upstages. And right, it's an anagram of guest. Here's that A. And guest. So I guess somehow is our anagram indicator here. And that is going around public school, which is PS. There we go. Not too bad. Hot sauce, Tabasco, improving nearly all of bad tacos. Well, it certainly looks like Tabasco. I see tacos in there. And then what else? A and B. Oh, okay. I get it. So improving I guess that's an anagram indicator, which, makes a vague amount of sense. Normally anagrams indicators are things that either involve movement or change or something like that. And to improve something is to change it. And I've heard, like, in a chess context, improving to mean movement. Like, Magnus Carlsen, whatever, improved his knight to, like, d4 or whatever. So improving can mean movement. So nearly all of bad. So almost all of the word bad up until the last letter, because we don't have no D in Tabasco. And then tacos, TACOSBA. They are improved to get hot sauce. We are cooking here. Okay, world-weary liberal besieged by core political supporters. Well, world-weary could be blasé. Liberal, again, just like I was saying with Democrat or Republican up here, can be abbreviated to R. Liberal can be abbreviated to L. Besieged by core political supporters are your base. So L is besieged. It's surrounded by base, and you get world weary, blasé. What is this? Grave, kindness, grace. G, race, right. So the first marker of generous, so the first letter of generous, G, plus a people is a race. The Vietnamese race, the Vietnamese people. And you get kindness, which is grace. A big long one here. Family member awkwardly tries to follow dance moves. So, awkwardly seems like an obvious anagram indicator to me here. Dance moves. So we have an anagram of tries to follow dance moves. Dance moves are steps, right? And you can have like step brothers and step sister. Tries, right? TRIES. Okay, there we go. So an anagram of tries follows dance moves, which are steps, and you get stepsister. Can we get this big long one, maybe? Some claret ordered for those who have just arrived. What's our definition here? Some claret ordered. I'm going on and on about anagram indicators. Anagrams are one of the most common kinds of cryptic clue. So you sort of always want to have in the back of your mind when you're reading a cryptic clue. Anything that could be read as an anagram indicator. Anagram of what? For those who or something? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Those who have just arrived. Well, maybe some claret might be the definition, because that is plural, and we are ending in an S here. And claret is a kind of wine. Is it a red wine or a white wine? Those who have just arrived might be the answer. If you just arrived, it's kind of indicating that, like, you're late. 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 Latecomers. There we go. Latecomers. Hey, we got one. Wow, we got another one. So just an anagram ordered of some claret. clear single fee introduced by former partner. Introduced by former partner. Oh, the only word I can think of for a former partner is your ex. But like to fill those, like an ex-lover or an ex, that can be ex-partner, ex-husband. Could be a former partner. Is that one word? Or is it like two words? And that cross looks really bad here, 27 down. Deal taking place in Mexico, perhaps. Taking place. What is that indicating to us? Taking place in. Is that a taking place in? Sounds like maybe a hidden in the middle indicator. I keep forgetting to do this up here. Cope, to deal. If you deal with an issue, you cope with it. Okay. There we go. Pretty straightforward. So it doesn't look like it's going to be former partner because I don't think words would fit here. Clear, single fee, clear something. What words even start EXO? Exo bots, exo single. So introduced by former partner. So that means that former partner's at the beginning, which is an X. Single one, like a single dollar bill. Exonerate. There we go. And that means to clear someone. And a fee is a rate. There we go. Okay. At the outset, all's peachy 2. At the outset, maybe we're talking about, so just like, where was it? To finish with, we were talking about the final letters of words. Maybe at the outset, we're talking about the beginning letters of words. A-T-O-A-P-T. Toapt. No. Beginning all's peachy. 2. Is our answer 2? Is our answer at the outset? It's 2-4, which so there's not very many 2-letter words. At, what's not going to be at? I don't think. Is, of, as, if. At the outset, at the beginning, if. 2, as well. All's peachy is, if something's peachy, it's swell. Okay, so at the outset of alls, the first letter of the word alls is A. There we go. Peachy is swell. And 2, as well. A. Item in a film archive is genuine, we're told. So we're told probably is a homonym or homophone indicator. Item in a film archive, that sounds like a film reel to me, and is genuine. If something is genuine, it's real. So the item in the film archive would be real. Nice. Got to go for those short ones first. How about this one? Empty charger is on more than one occasion an emergency. So this is not a class of wordplay that I've seen in the New Yorker, I don't think, but I've seen it outside of the New Yorker cryptics where empty or sometimes hollow or like dig out, some kind of word that indicates you're hollowing something out or emptying it means to take all the central letters out of it and just leave yourself with the first and the last letter. So if you empty out the word charger, you get CR. And I mean, the word empty just made me think of that again. I know that's not in New Yorker cryptics, but I've seen it in other cryptics. So it'd be CR, Is on more than one occasion an emergency. An emergency is a crisis. Is, okay. So empty charger, CR, is on more than one occasion. Okay. So yeah, this is a bit of a bizarre cryptic clue. It's a little bit more abstract than the ones you're typically going to see in the New Yorker. But, so is on more than one occasion. So that's telling us to put in the letters is more than once. Put them in twice. So CR is. There you go. An emergency. And you can get, there's really no set rules for how abstract you can get. Some cryptic clues are extremely, wildly, bizarrely abstract. And they only become obvious after the fact, after much thinking about it. But this is not too bad. Is on more than one occasion. Okay. One Shakespeare's king uprising somewhere in the Middle East. So because this is a vertical clue, uprising could mean we're going up. We see that in the New Yorker. One is often I, somewhere in the Middle East. So Israel. Shakespeare's king is Lear, King Lear. Okay. Oh, okay. I get it. Kings, Shakespearean kings is Lear's, is going up. But first we start with one, which is I from Roman numeral, and that is somewhere in the Middle East. Listening device provided by old lawman that is extremely comfortable. So much like, this is another one. Again, I don't think I've seen it terribly often in the New Yorker, but it's very similar to empty. I mean, in this case, it's identical to empty as far as the letters that it's indicating. But extremely could mean the extreme letters of comfortable, which is C and E. C and E. But that's the last. So CE, listening device, an earpiece. That is extremely comfortable. Old lawman. Oh, okay. Earp. Wyatt Earp. Famous storied sheriff from the Old West. So an old lawman, that is, which, i.e. in Latin, id est, right, is that is. Extremely comfortable. There we go. We've got almost all the crosses we're going to get for this one. Key NFL players have speed. What's our answer here? Key NFL players? Quarterback or have speed. Just speed. Velocity. Just key. Something is key. It's critical. It's crucial. It is mandatory. What's this? Furniture that bulges in odd places. Well, here's our odd clue. This is something you've seen in the New Yorker. If you see the word oddly or evenly or something like that, you mean take the odd letters of. So 1 T A B L E, table. Okay. Key NFL players. Well, I mentioned quarterback. I know there are a lot of, there's like linebacks and defensive backs and stuff. I don't know much about speed. Backspace. Oh, backspace. So there we go. That's a computer keyboard, a key on your keyboard. NFL players are backs, and they have speed, which is a pace. Backspace. Yeah. We are cooking. Just this last little corner left, this big long one. Korea, small marsupials. Well, with 5-5, small marsupials. I can't imagine that marsupials. Well, maybe the answer is just marsupials. I don't know what that would be adding cryptically. I think marsupials has to be the definition with 5-5. And that A right there, I'm looking at koala bears. Sort of a misnomer because they're not bears, they're marsupials. Research facility, well, I see lab in Korea, Coaeer. Treated, small. Korea. See. Oh, a small. Okay. I think I get it. A is just A. So once again, the New York Times seems to be very consistent about that. If they have an A, it's going in the grid. So A and research facility. So a research facility is a lab, LAB. In Korea treated. So in a treated is an anagram indicator here. So we're treating the letters of Korea, Korea, and then small is just S. So there's just one big long assemblage clue here. And small for is S is easy. Large, medium, small, LMS. Those all you see those in like T-shirt tags and stuff like that. So that's a very common abbreviation to see out in the wild. So A research facility, A lab, in an anagram of Korea, and then an S, and all that is marsupials, which is koala bears. Okay. Endlessly hoping for relief from pain. Endlessly. So that is another very common cryptic word. So we're taking a word and we're going to take the end off of it. So what is our answer? Pain? Relief from pain? Well, hoping. Aspirin. Okay. Let me explain. So I was thinking, so a word for hoping maybe that we take the end off of. And I thought, well, any word that means hoping must also end with ing. So we take the G off and we end with in. That's why I put that in there. And that's what got me to see aspirin, which is relief from pain. And of course, aspiring, if we had a G here, we'd have aspiring, which means to hope or hoping. So here we go. Loudly proclaim. Is this another homophone clue? Claim that in the end, alcohol leads to stroke. Loudly proclaim. Let's see if we can get something else. Excerpt from Australian opera coming up live. Well, up or coming up, again, we have a vertical clue here, so both those can mean something backwards. An excerpt seems like a very clear hidden in the middle clue. So with coming up, what are we? So it must be live is the answer. So hidden in the middle of Australian opera. Possibly backwards. Tryon? Nope. What about backwards? On air. There we go. That's live. And 2-3. I should have looked at that 2-3 earlier. That probably would have helped. Okay. Remove piece from inside of lunar module. Inside, is this another hidden in the middle clue? Inside, remove piece. Inside. Unarm in lunar module. Is the word remove someone's piece, like their gun? You know, I've heard of someone's gun being referred to as their piece. Oops. Unarm. Do we like that? I mean, it's right there. It's inside lunar module. I would normally think disarm is the word that I've heard to mean that. Unarm. Well, whatever. Game for which no demo is released. Well, I'm looking at M, N, and E here, and I'm immediately seeing no demo. Of course, has all those letters. We have 8 letters, though. No demo is only 6. No demo is, I guess, released is our anagram indicator here. Like, release the hounds. Released, you know, they've been let loose. So, no demo is to mean a game. Dominoes? I was just thinking where we're going to put the D and going through the different places. And once I put it in the first place, I was like, oh, dominoes. Okay. There we go. Loudly proclaim that in the end, alcohol leads to stroke. Loudly proclaim that in the end, is that another, like, to finish with, maybe? I mean, the final letters of 7 letters. T-N-E-D-L-S. That doesn't seem to be anything. Loudly proclaim. What about this? So an anagram of blacked out. Well, this is one of my tricks for doing anagrams. If you know you have a difficult to place letter, is try to think of where we could put that. So for blacked out, I think our difficult letter is going to be B, which is a bit of a weird one. Obviously, the B is not going to go there. Guess could maybe go there, something bond or something like that, but prod, trunk, no, we have truckload, but where's the B? It's not truckload. Bucket load. There we go. Bucket load. Okay. That must be an anagram of blacked out. B-L-A-C-K-E-D-O-U-T. Yep, blacked out. Yeah, I'm not, certainly not capable of keeping 10 letters in my head and endlessly rearranging them until they form a word. But once you get enough of it, we know it means a lot. I guess that's one word, bucket load. It's not 2 different words. But whatever. Trumpet, I guess. Loudly proclaim. Trumpet. Okay. How does the cryptic work there? Oh. Bomb. There we go. So that's it. 4840. Would be slow for a New Yorker, but one thing to notice, this also has more clues than a typical New Yorker. Although I was pretty on this puzzle's wavelength today. Things just sort of fell into place fairly easily. In the end, alcohol. That, in the end, alcohol leads to stroke is to pet. Rum is an alcohol. We're getting a T. Oh, that in the end. So that in the end. So the final letter of the word that, which is a T, and an alcohol, which is rum, leads to pet. Stroke, which is pet. Trumpet. There we go. Not bad, not bad. New York Times. Ali Gascoigne. No idea how to say that name. Sorry. It was the constructor today. And there we go. Not bad for Variety Day. Get to see branch out our cryptic knowledge into some other, puzzles, because in general, certain publication, they have their stable of usual constructors, and whoever the editor is going to have their preferences, and there's a certain way of doing things, just like Will Shortz has his own, way of the kind of clues that he will and won't allow, etc. So, you kind of get used to the way a certain publication's crosswords are going to work. If you do them enough, you're going to, the kind of wordplay that they tend to use, sort of common vocabulary that they pull from. So even though these are all, or most of these are clues that would ostensibly appear in the New Yorker, again, some of them, like that empty clue for wherever that was, empty charger, that is not a kind of wordplay that the New Yorker uses. So it's always helpful to branch out your, do a variety of cryptics if you're interested in them, to kind of get used to all the different varieties of wordplay that exist out there, and not just the kind that one particular publication uses. But anyway, that'll do it. It's been a long enough video today. So this has been your enigmatic host, The Brain, and I will see you tomorrow for the Wednesday New Yorker. Until then, stay safe out there. Bye.